Okay. So my name is Calvin Hall. For this presentation, I'm going to be talking about just holidays throughout the year in the spirit of it being Easter this weekend. I'll just share like what I think about them, some of my past experiences, and then how I've seen other people celebrate them. So I mean, I guess I'll just start out with Easter here. We're in Easter week. Um, so. Easter is pretty significant for me. So I'm religious, so um I don't know, Easter's just a special time, I guess. My family always did Easter service in the morning, right? And then also just like the normal um fun Easter stuff too, like the candy and egg hunts and all that fun stuff. We usually celebrate Easter with other people too. Um, especially like I don't know, not when I was older, but as I was growing up, we normally had close friends over. So I don't know, I really enjoy Easter. I think it's a fun time. Um, I guess next I'll talk about um Thanksgiving for my family. We usually go and visit my mom's family. Um, and we either visit her parents or some of my cousins on that side, and we like to do just like a big family gathering. We kind of try to do that pretty well every year. So I like Thanksgiving a lot. It's really fun. It's nice to see everybody, especially like as my grandparents I know are like getting older and stuff, and we don't know how much time we have. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know, really nice to just see them, you know.
Do all your relatives come to this?
Yeah, so not it's not every year and it's not like set in stone like we have to. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like tradition, but it happens a lot. I would say it happens at least every other year. Um so my mom has a sister and then a brother and then my grandparents. So it's not too many um people as long as like some people can stay in hotels and some people stay with whoever's hosting. So it doesn't feel too like overcrowded. I guess it feels like a good amount of people. But yeah, so all my relatives on my mom's side that we're really close with usually come come
That's
in
really
for
nice.
that. Yeah. So I guess I'll move on. I'll do Christmas next. Um I I think Christmas is my favorite, which I guess is kind of cliche. For holidays I celebrate, but I really love it. I love all the lead up to it. I really like Christmas music a lot. I like jazz a lot and like older like 40s, 50s like kind of swing style music which there's a lot of around the holiday. And that also has like some religious significance to me, like I already said, like being a Christian and stuff. So my family usually did like a Christmas Eve service of some kind growing up. And then like all the normal stuff on Christmas morning, just doing presents and like some kind of family meal and stuff all day. So that was really, I don't know, it's just a really good time. I like it a lot. I think there's like a lot of friendliness, and if you just like talk to people around that time, it just seems to like a lot of people like open up and kind of unite in a way, I guess. So
Yeah,
I think it's really fun and it's really special, and like it's been a good thing for me personally.
that's really nice. Do you give presents out to everyone?
Honestly, I don't give as many presents as I would like to. I should probably do it more. I've done a couple here in past years. I'll do like a um I don't know what to call it. Not like a Friendsgiving, but like a mini Christmas with like close friends and stuff. And for that we do like presents like Secret Santa or something. But here in recent years I've tried to do more as far as like getting presents for like family members and stuff. Um But yeah, I don't know. I usually help out my parents if I don't know what to get. So I have three younger brothers. Um, and like if I don't know what to get them, I'll usually just try to ask my parents and like see if I can help them with one of their presents in some way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really nice of you.
Thanks. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, that pretty much covers um Christmas. Um, I'll go on to talk about Halloween, I guess, and like what I've done for Halloween in the past. So I liked Halloween growing up a lot because um we always went with like a really, really big group of people, and we had like a select route of neighborhoods that we would go on. And it was always just fun. My family wasn't really into like scary movies and stuff, so I didn't really see I don't know. I like didn't really like scary movies and stuff like that growing up. But I liked all the other like just the fun getting to dress up and like go outside and just have a good time with friends, and you're a kid and it's free
Yeah.
candy, so like who could complain?
What was your
Um
favorite costume?
so I always made my own costumes. My parents would like uh maybe help out a little. They would maybe get you like one or two things, but I never had like the full like fancy kitted out costume or anything like that. So I did get like creative. Um and so do my siblings. So that's created like some fun ones. As far as my costumes, I don't know. I'd have to think a little bit, but one of my younger brothers went as like is like really random, but he went as like an Elmer glue bottle um one year, and it was just really funny. Like he made the whole cardboard thing, and he like wore a cone. It was just really funny, and
Yeah,
I had just like a fun idea. um One year I did a Maverick from Top Gun costume that I was pretty proud of.
that's
I was pretty happy with that. And when I was really, really little, I remember going as Zorro one year, which is like a Mexican like outlaw hero in a movie for just from like an action movie that I really liked as a kid.
that's sick.
I remember that being a fun one too.
That's nice.
So for I think that pretty much covers like all the US holidays that like I really like. I don't really care for Valentine's all that much. I think it's like kind of made up. Um, but it's whatever. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about like some ways I've seen other people celebrate. So last year I was on a mission trip over for Easter and like over this week, and I was in Honduras, and in like that culture like the week leading up to Easter is like Holy Week. So like even for people who aren't like religious at all, it's like a kind of like a nice break out of the year and like a time for rest. Um and so I would say honestly like it's probably a bigger deal there as far as like significance than like how Easter is here for a lot of people. And a lot of that was just like everybody had off work for that week for the most part. Like all the kids get off school. So it's just like everybody gets to relax and like celebrate and stuff, and it's fun. And then I went to a church for their Easter service there. It was really cool. It was like a I don't know, it was all in Spanish, so I didn't understand much of it,
Yeah,
but it was fun. They a lot of their worship songs were like really fun, and just even outside of Spanish, like sound like different from ours, had a very different style. But it was really cool. It was like a unique thing to get to experience, like how other people around the world would like celebrate something similar to what I celebrate, or and like see what they do different too. So yeah, it was really cool and it was really neat.
that's really cool. I don't think besides like my own culture, I've had to experience something else.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you get a chance, you definitely should um I don't know, reach out to people maybe and see their holidays and stuff because I
Yeah.
know for me like it was a really good experience.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Mhm. Um, I mean, even going off of that, like here at Purdue, I've seen some celebrations and stuff, and like I had no idea what was going on, but it like really brought people together and stuff for holidays of other religions and other cultures and stuff that um Purdue hosts, and that's been like really cool to see too.
Yeah,
Just kind of like how people celebrate, you know?
yeah. I don't even know like what culture this was, but I don't know if you remember. I think it was like last weekend. There was like a bunch of people lined up outside Third Street, and they were like having some performance, I think. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I remember that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it was really neat to see. I remember early last semester, there was something down on Croc Lawn, and I forget all the ins and outs, but there was a lot of like people talking and like some dancing and stuff and some music going. So it just looks
Yeah.
like, a lot of fun, and it's neat to get to like experience those sorts of things that like you wouldn't get to otherwise, and it's really cool that we're in a
Yeah,
space where we get to have that.
I agree.
All right, is that the end of our time?
Yeah.
All right.
So the observer now, right?
Yeah. Great conversation. Loved hearing about that. Um, I would say that um, some of the listener strengths was that you asked really good, like relevant questions, which really showed acknowledgement that you were paying attention. And also, you were great with giving like positive feedback, like even just something small, like oh yeah, that's great, or oh I like that, something like that. Did really well. And then you're really good with eye contact, both of you actually. I know it's kind of hard with since it's Zoom and you can't really make eye contact, but it at least looked like were trying. And then again, just nodding to show understanding was great. Um, one thing that I would say is maybe I know you did at the end there, but like maybe trying to like find a way to like incorporate your own experiences with the speakers or like in relation, just to like um, build sort of like a bond, I guess. That's like the only thing I would say. But overall, great conversation. Loved it.
Cool.
Okay.
Um, I can be the speaker now.
And I'll be listening.
Okay. Hi guys. Oh wait, let me make the time. Sorry. All right. Hey guys. I'm Pranay and I'm currently a freshman at Purdue. And I wanted to kind of talk about like how it's been being a freshman here, being out of state, and like, kind of like my perspective or my thoughts on it. I'm in FYE, so first year engineering. I do I think I want to go into computer engineering just because I think that it probably best aligns with some of like my career aspirations. So that's what I'm kind of looking towards. I'm in like a couple different clubs, but not too much. I'm in like a consulting club and then one of like the racing teams, but I dropped out of the racing team because it was just like too much work with second semester.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like when I first came into Purdue, it was like really, really overwhelming because I haven't really been away from my parents. I mean, if I have, it's been like, oh, like me and my mom went to India for like a couple months or like went on a trip with my dad for a week. But it hasn't been anything where I had to like, live by myself and like structure and manage my time and my day. So I felt really overwhelmed when I came here. I didn't like fully process it because like getting out of high school to me it was just like, oh, I'm gonna get a bunch of freedom and I'm gonna be able to do, whatever I want. But like once classes started and like things actually started to get serious, I realized like, I have less freedom than I thought I did because everything's already like taken up by like whatever I have to do with school. But it's been like a fun challenge trying to navigate through. I do think there's a lot of unknowns that I wasn't expecting when I first came into college. I definitely was expecting for it to be like high school again. I don't know why, but um, like it's nothing like high school. Just because
Mhm.
I think like a lot of people matured from like the switch from having your parents support you and your family there to living by yourself, with a friend or like a random. My roommate actually, I guess this is one good part, but like when I first came here, my roommate's like one of my really close friends back at home. So it was like a fun addition having him. Because I didn't have to like stress, like, oh, what if I, don't find like a friend group, because like we had each other's backs, and it
Mhm.
was like we navigated through like the first month together, and I thought it was really cool. Um, but yeah, I'll get into that later because I want to talk about like friend groups and stuff. But I wanted to like quickly compare like expectation versus reality. I know I talked about freedom. Um, I also thought that, everything would like just come like an internship or like, studying. Like I thought it would be a lot like high school where things are kind of handed to you and then like you could just have to follow like a set of rules for like to have a proper outcome.
Mhm.
But it's nothing like that. I mean, like I only think like my math professor knows my name because like the lectures are just like filled with like a bunch of students. So nothing's ever like handed to you on like a platter, like where you have to follow a set of instructions. It's more like they tell you you can do this, and if you don't do this, you get a zero.
Yeah,
But it's not like they're
definitely.
kind of like motivating or persuading you to do it like they did in high school, which was like a little unsettling to me at first because I think I talked about this last time, but like I procrastinate a lot, and it's
Mhm.
like it was like kind of good in high school to have like that extra like boost from my teachers and like my
For sure.
peers. But here I feel like it's just like myself and sometimes like if I have friends in my classes, then like it's probably like us studying a little bit, but I think it's like reality hits and then you have to understand that a lot of this is based on decisions that you take.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like college is that turning point for a lot of people. I can definitely relate. The only reason I got through my freshman year with my sanity intact was because of my roommate, who was also a friend from home. And what you said about freedom, that reminded me, it feels like when you move to college, it's freedom is sort of like a double-edged sword, like on one end you're free, you don't have parents restricting you, you can go out whenever you want, but then also it's kind of like too much freedom that if you don't relegate yourself, um, everything can go super downhill for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I think
Mhm.
like halfway through freshman year or like freshman first semester, like last semester, halfway through it, I think I hit like a dip. Like I think I was like abusing too much of like my freedom. And like I think my dad started to notice because like what like I would like call him less or like I would be like less inclined to like talk to him about what like
Mhm.
schoolwork I'm doing. But I hit like a bump there for like a solid 2, 3 weeks where I was just like doing like everything except schoolwork. Um,
Mhm.
but I think like I was able to get out of that just by like understanding that things now are like more serious than they were in high school, and I just can't slack off like that anymore. And I try to like incentivize myself. So like, if I complete like all my assignments for the day early, then I can go hang out with friends or I can like go out to eat, things like that, or like go out on the weekend. That's been like a fun way to be able to finish my work on time and like, also have like the social aspect of college, which everyone like prefers and loves.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah.
Mhm. Would you say that like your motivation for like, getting out of those like ruts, do you think that your motivation comes more from like extrinsic values, like your family, or from like fear of failure or something, or do you think it's more intrinsic, like, oh, I want to learn, I want to,
I
show
think it
people and stuff?
started, yeah, sorry. That was a great question. I think it started out as extrinsic, and I still think it's a little bit extrinsic, but
Mhm.
like like probably like a month ago, I think like the value, like my value or like my understanding of it was like this is good for me and I want to do this because I find it like enjoying or like like this is something I actually want to pursue because I find it interesting. I think that started to kick in. And then ever since I've been feeling that feeling like I feel like I like actually studying or like doing my work now, like for classes that, are related to my career. Um but yeah, I think it definitely transitioned from extrinsic to intrinsic. And yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that does happen a lot when you like start really developing like a passion for what you want to do with your degree and everything, and when you start like realizing, oh, this is the class that's going to get me there. I feel like that definitely really helps.
yeah. I also wanted to talk about like kind of like academic adjustments. I feel like in high school, again, like you like everything's like handed to you on a platter and you kind of just have to like follow a set of rules. I wasn't like the type of kid to really ask for help in high school. I don't know, maybe if I thought like the work was easy or maybe I didn't care enough or I just thought that like I would be able to learn by myself. But by being able to overcome that and like know that I can ask for help and like going to office hours and like asking my professor or the TAs, I think that's been able to help me a lot while understanding like this whole like college thing. Um, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that um like asking for help to learn isn't like weakness. Instead
Hmm.
it like helps you build your strengths. And I think that's like a really good key point for like maybe freshmen that are coming in.
Hmm. I know that a lot of problems that me and my friends had our freshman year were that are, because the classes are so big, it's hard to find like a time or even just like the confidence to go up to your professor, because like you're one person in a sea of like 200 people. What does he care or she care? Do you think that you like have good professors this semester that you can talk to, or do you face that same problem?
Yeah. Well, like I mean, like briefly mentioned this. I don't
Mhm.
think like my professors know my name besides my math professor.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because like our my lecture halls like for some of the classes that I'm taking are like filled like physics and
Mhm.
like programming. But like my math class is like pretty small. There's only like 20 kids in it because it's like a smaller math class. And I think because of that smaller like population size, we don't have like TAs or anything. So I'm able to like ask for help to the actual professor and like build a connection with them. Like let them know how I'm feeling about the course rather than going through the TA.
Mhm.
And I do wish if I had the opportunity, I could do that to all my professors, but I definitely get that, they have like a million other students, and that's kind of the job of the TA to kind of help you guide the course.
Yeah, for sure. um I feel like we might have covered this in like the first role play, but like what pushed you more towards, you said computer engineering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what pushed you more towards that than any other kind of, I know they've got like a gazillion different kinds of engineering at Purdue. Just
Yeah.
was my question.
I guess I wanted to do computer engineering because I like technology and I like the recent trends and how they're impacting the world and like a lot of these businesses. I think that's like a key point, and I find it like really fascinating that like you're able to automate or like you're able to make a computer or like technology do certain things and like how and I think I want to be able to contribute to that. I think like building technology and like expanding on new trends and finding like new things to explore is like really cool. Um, it's been so like I've like any internship that I've had so far has been like related to something technology and I've just had a blast at everyone. So, I do think that like a career in this like industry would be good for me just because in the past, um, I've been able to have like a really good time. And like also aside from that, like my both my parents are like kind of in this industry as well. So I guess that's also like a pushing factor because I saw them like while growing up, I saw them do it. They like it and kind of just like probably influenced me a little too. But yeah, with my own experiencing, I found that, I actually really like this more than like other engineerings.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like parental influence is does play like a big factor for I feel like a lot of people. Um, I wanted to ask you about like your internships that you did, but we're kind of like
Yeah,
15 seconds away from 12 minutes, so I won't
that's okay.
do that. But loved hearing about it.
Thank you.
Um, uh, Notes from our observer.
Yeah.
All right. Um, sorry. Really good conversation. Um, a lot of good back and forth, a lot of good questions asked. Some of the positive points I wrote down. You did a lot of nodding and like positive body posture, and then also like verbal affirmations. That was really, really good. Definitely helped like move the conversation along in a good way. And then you also like talked about your time as a freshman, which I thought was like really good, like incorporation of personal experience. Um, One thing I said that like you could add to the conversation to make it even better would maybe be like um some more summarizing of what he
Mhm.
said, just like to kind of restate it. But yeah, overall, like really good job to both parties here. Really good conversation.
For sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Also, sorry if mine went short. My timer like messed up, so I was kind of guesstimating on how long I
Nah,
was
I
talking.
think you hit like 11:30, so you're good.
Yeah,
Okay, sick.
I think so too.
I
Okay.
can be the observer now.
Okay.
Cool.
I will
Listen.
be the speaker. Okay. So I know that for last time, my topic of conversation that I chose to go over and like really divulge into the themes of was one of my favorite books. And that turned out to be a great discussion. So I figured this time I'd do one of my favorite movies. I'm
Awesome.
not a movie person at all. I don't know if you are, so sorry, but so I think the fact that this movie stood out to me so much might be saying a lot, or it might be saying a little because I don't have a whole lot to compare it to. Um, but have either of you at all seen the movie Mother with Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem? I think Bardem.
The name rings a bell. I feel like I know about it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it came out in like 2017. Oh, I know who directed it. Hold on. I think it's Darren Aronsoff or something like that. Um, but it's got like a few big names in it. There's Jennifer, obviously, Javier. It has Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, and I can't really think of anyone else. But it's definitely one of my favorite movies. Also, I can talk about this for hours, so please interrupt me if I start rambling. But it starts out with a man and a woman, like a couple, who have just moved into a house that kind of looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. And the husband is a writer who is having trouble figuring out what to write for his next novel. And then the mother in this movie is a homemaker who is very pregnant and spends most of her day like fixing up their house and trying to create this like sort of paradise, I guess you could say. Um, and these characters don't have names, which was a strategic decision, which I love, but I'll get into that later. Um, but for the sake of this conversation, we'll just call the woman mother and then the man the husband, I guess. Um, and so I'm not going to do like a whole overview because there's so much,
Mhm.
but just like something quick. So like a man shows up to their house, and then mother doesn't want them there. The husband invites him to stay, and then his wife also shows up, and they just start like doing like really freaky things. And the mother wants him out, but the husband just isn't really listening to her. And then their two sons show up, and the two sons like get into an argument, and then one of them kills the other. And again, this is all happening inside of their home, so it's kind of crazy. But I went into this movie blind, so it was pretty
Oh, so you
wild.
like you had no idea like any of it was
No,
that.
no. The trailer was very vague.
Do you think that like help the shock value and like that was intentional that they like kind of didn't allude to that as much?
Oh, absolutely. It was so like I went into it having I think I barely seen the trailer, like I was only like half watching it, but I know that it didn't go into like the shocking parts, that I was really like taken aback by when I watched it. And I had
Gotcha.
no idea what it was about or what it was a metaphor for. And so it was just like it was really crazy. That's a good question. Um, and so basically after this, people just keep showing up at their house, like hordes and hordes of people. And she keeps trying to get them out. The husband isn't listening to her, and they keep breaking things in her home, using all of her things, like her linens, their dishes, and all of that stuff. Um, and eventually, it goes to like a like at the very climax of the movie. She goes into labor, of course, and she has the baby. And I'm skipping so much stuff you have no idea. But anyway, she has the baby, and um, she's like trying not to fall asleep, but then she does. And then the husband takes the baby from her and then brings it to the crowd of people. And they basically take the baby, kill it, and then eat it. And I
Oh,
know. It's like, I know. It's kind of crazy. But, and then what does happen next?
that's wild. I didn't know Jennifer Lawrence was in anything that dark. It's kind of
I know.
crazy.
She was so good in it though. She really was. She phenomenal. It's probably I love her. I think she's the funniest, and um she did a really good job in this role. Um
Throughout the movie, is she like you mentioned like people like you keep showing up and like they're starting to break their stuff. Is it kind of portrayed as like um she's like obsessive over it, or is it more like she's just the protagonist and like the only sane one in this
she's
situation?
definitely good questions. She is definitely the only sane one.
Okay.
Everyone is just like being super disrespectful, using her things, calling her names. Eventually it gets violent and they actually start like physically hurting her and each other, and um just all inside the house, and it's just super super creepy. And so if you like if you were like me and you go into it blind not knowing what it's about, it's like
Mm.
it's just like super weird, and it just gives you like this like deep anxious feeling, I guess. And so I don't want to like spoil anything for you. I'm trying to figure out the best way to like phrase it,
Oh,
but
it's okay.
um so basically at the end, she after they kill her baby, she grieves so heavily that she goes into the basement, I think, and basically blows the entire place up with her included. Um, and then the husband finds her, takes her heart, I think it's her heart out, and like reforms it, places it back on the mantle, and like as he does that, the entire place is like resetting to like the very beginning of the movie. It's super confusing. Hold on, I promise I'll explain in a minute. But
No, you're right. It sounds cool. It sounds like a fun like twist.
it's really, really good. And then basically the whole story starts over again after that. Um,
Mm,
and so the undeniable like part of this movie, like looking past the surface level, is that Jennifer's character mother is actually Mother Nature, and then the husband is supposed to represent God. And I'm not gonna like get too much into religion with you guys, but it's basically all this movie is about. Um, like for example, the man and woman that show up are Adam and Eve,
mm.
and then the sons are Cain and Abel because one murders the other, and then all of the other people that show up are just humans, and they're just like sitting all over again, like throughout the house and stuff. And so like the house is supposed to represent Earth, I think, as well.
Mm. That's really interesting. That's a like I
Hmm.
totally see the parallels now that you're like talking about them. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And like, there's even a part where like one of them like breaks her sink and like the whole house floods, and it's supposed to represent like the flood
Oh,
or whatever. Yeah, so
that's
it's
fun.
like every single scene has like a religious con context to it.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think the part where they like kill her baby and eat it is supposed to be like I don't know this for sure, but in my head it was like communion. It's very
Mm,
dark, and if you can't tell already, the director is atheist, and
mhm.
that's not the reason I like it. I just like it because it's
Yeah,
so like contemplative, and you have to really give it thought, and every single scene is important, and it just like it makes you think, and I really like that.
it's
Um,
really cool.
yeah, so I think that like its major themes mostly surround religion, mankind, and like our behavior, and like the damage that we're causing to our planet. Um, I think that
That's
like
cool.
basically, yeah, I think basically it's like kind of like the story of the Bible or of like mankind or like God's
Mhm.
relationship, but told from the perspective of Mother Nature, which I think is really
Mm.
interesting and kind of like a risk to make a movie about that. But I think it was really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
that is like, um, I mean, just talking about it, like it covers so many topics and such like a
Mhm.
wide range, especially like walking into it too. And it's not clear up front that like it's supposed to be like symbolism and like a metaphor, for all of that. Um, that's cool. I like movies that are kind of like that, where like it makes you think afterwards and
Mhm.
like you watch it through a second time and you like discover new things or something you didn't notice before. Um, so it sounds really cool. Like it sounds like a good watch. Did you enjoy it as a whole? Just like a really good movie, you think?
I think that that's probably like one of the best movies I've ever seen. Again, I'm not like a movie
Mhm.
person, but I really dislike movies that are too contemplative. Like when you're watching it, it's just like thing after thing happens and you're like, what is going on? I have
Oh,
no
sure, yeah.
clue. Like Midsommar was like that for me. And I
Hmm.
had to like go home and like do a whole like research e- expenditure, whatever, to
Hmm.
figure out what that movie was about. But this one, it's like at the beginning, you're like, what is happening? And then eventually you piece the dots together and
Hmm.
it's very dark. If you're thinking about watching it, I'm warning you. It's
Noted.
a little creepy, but um, the director did not give any of the characters names, and this is something I rave to people about when I tell them. But I think that that was such a strategic decision, because I think that he wanted the audience to really like focus on like the whole of mankind rather than like the individuals.
Hmm.
I think that he thinks that like when we focus too much on individuals and like their stories and their um, stuff like that, we might like get lost and not be able to see the grand scheme of things. And so I think that that was like a very tactical move on his part, and it definitely played into like the themes of the movie, in my opinion. But again, he's never
For
confirmed
sure.
that, so I might just be making stuff up.
No, I mean, I would say that like totally tracks with what you've told me about the movie. Um,
Mhm,
I guess like almost at our time, but like one more
mhm.
question. Did you like pick up right away that they didn't have names? Was it like obvious that they weren't named, or was it just kind of like they were just kind of going along and you realized later like that they never mentioned names?
I honestly did not even think about it until I was like looking up a little bit like more
Mm.
information
Yeah.
to explain some scenes. I didn't even think about it. I was mostly just trying not to get lost with a plot. I feel like I do that a lot with movies.
Hmm.
So that's why it takes like a second or a third watch for me to like really understand. But but yeah, I recommend you guys watch it. I think that's um pretty entertaining for sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Some thoughts. I think that was a really good conversation. I think it was a lot of good back and forth. Allowed for, like Sarah to be able to talk about what she loves and Calvin to find out and explore more topics, to kind of understand it. I think there was good eye contact. There was a lot of questions or like questions that would further the conversation, and I think that was good. Maybe something that I think the conversation could have been better if there was like more context. I know obviously there's like a time constraint. And I think if you had more time, you'd be able to give more context, but I think it was good. I think maybe some like paraphrasing of what she said to better understand it, especially because, it's a whole movie and she like it's a
Yeah.
summarization in like 10 minutes. Um, I think that would have been a little better, but it was a great conversation and I think there were good skills employed.
Awesome.
Okay, great. We don't have to do anything else. I can stop the recording, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Should be it.